Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. We previously posted a video about how we finally had proof that the Navy went and stripped parts off of other museum ships to feed the Iowa-class program in the 1980s and 90s. So, the question we got immediately after that is, did the Navy ever do this to the Iowa-class battleships themselves? Well, I can't say for certain about the other three Iowas, although if you put a gun to my head, I'd absolutely say, yeah, they did it to New Jersey. They probably did it to the other three as well. So the follow-up question to that I'm sure we're going to get, and we're going to try and preempt here with a video, is what sort of stuff did the Navy take? So first of all, while the ship was in mothballs probably every time during her career, but definitely from 91 until she opens as a museum in 2001, the Navy probably came on board periodically and took other fittings they needed. We know we've got less than a third of the chairs that we're supposed to have for the various offices and messes and things like that. These are probably reused elsewhere. Other pieces of equipment and fittings from various spaces, like habitability type things, soap dishes from officer staterooms and mirrors and things like that, are no longer here. So that's probably taken out to use on other ships. The weightlifting equipment from the gym, the ship's closed circuit television system, all of these things are removed probably as soon as the ship is decommissioned to be used in other places. Possibly they're stripped off at various times. So I've made a list of the things that some of our volunteers and myself could think of off the top of our heads that went missing. And one piece of equipment that the Navy came back and took after the museum already had possession of the ship. So, some of the pieces that go missing include the Mark 48 shore bombardment computer. We have one in forward plot. The one in aft plot is just an open hole in the deck. So the Navy probably took that. Those were only ever manufactured in small numbers, and so it was likely taken as spare parts for the Iowas that were still in service, i.e. Missouri and Wisconsin, when New Jersey was decommissioned. The ship's original 4 phalanxes get taken off the ship when she's decommissioned. Those almost certainly just got reused on some other ship on the fleet. They may have since been decommissioned and gotten rid of. They're block zeros, and the Navy's now on like block 3 or 4 for close-in weapon systems. So they may have been updated, or they may no longer exist. Fortunately, the Navy was able to give us some spares they had in the inventory that were no longer functioning when we opened the ship as a museum. The ship's SPS-49 air search radar antenna gets removed. That probably, again, was reused on another ship. The radio transmitting room was just about completely gutted. Equipment that we know is missing from there are 2 OE-82 receivers. Those are the satellite communication antennas. 18 UHF transceivers, and an antenna patch panel. From all of the bridge spaces and CEC, CIC type spaces, all of the SPA-25 radar repeaters were removed. Again, these could be used on modern ships. The ship's original telephone system, the ship's service telephone system for communicating space to space on the ship, a Dimension 2000 PBX system, completely gone. The ship's forward diesel generator is very heavily stripped. That could have been for spare parts, or it could have been an ongoing maintenance issue that the crew was working on when the ship was decommissioned. It's unclear. Speaking of spare parts, all of the spare parts that would have normally been stored in spaces around the ship, I won't say all of them, many of these are no longer there. Oftentimes a ship would be mothballed with the spare parts. I have a suspicion that given the Iowa-class program used some rather old parts that weren't being manufactured anymore, that they might have just been taken off of this ship and put in the inventory instead of being mothballed with them. Now, what do we know for sure that the Navy came back and took after the ship was already turned over to the museum? In June of 2001, the battleship was already in the Philadelphia-Camden area. The museum already had volunteers on board getting it ready to be reactivated. In October of 2001, the ship would open to the public. However, the Navy came and took 4 of the units that would be mounted on this bracket right here. These were 400 hertz solid-state generators for the missile equipment. This one is in what was a 5-inch magazine about midships on Broadway, and all of these were removed from the ship. Obviously, we know it was supposed to be here. There's the mounting base for it, here's the power for it, and we've got the switch panel for it right here. However, no generator. Thanks to the incredible memory of one of our longtime volunteers, Dave, he was able to point out to me that, yeah, this absolutely was here when he started volunteering on the ship, and the Navy sent a team of guys to remove it. And the museum was even able to ask that team of guys when they, look at the size of this thing, and they took it apart and was able to fit it through the 26-inch doors around the ship to get it out of here. They were able to ask those same riggers to help load some more equipment down onto the ship. Interestingly, some of the telephone equipment that they were trying to use to replace the stuff that was missing because the Navy had taken that original Dimension 2000 system off. Interestingly, while I said that much of this original equipment was likely taken off of other Iowa-class battleships, it doesn't seem like the Navy took the same stuff off of all the ships. For example, we know that Iowa still has her radio transmitting room nearly complete and intact. Likewise, her phone system, I believe, has much of the original PBX. So it wasn't just a straight checklist of we're going to take all of these things back. They seem to choose based on need. Yeah, we've got another ship that's coming online that needs this. Let's take it. And it was probably a mix of things. There were probably some things that they're just like, all right, all the phalanxes come off of all of them. Those can be reused. PBXs, we're building a new ship right now, let's take that. And then by the time I was taken out of service, yeah, we don't need to take that one. Harpoon canisters, they take all the harpoon canisters from all the Iowas. Those get reused. The canisters and the missiles are more or less a complete package, so that makes sense. So, our contract with the Navy says that they can come back and take things, and that they will make a good faith effort to replace the things they remove. Obviously, for things like they removed the working phalanxes, and we were able to get back non-working phalanxes, that sort of situation worked out. Obviously, they did not replace the 400 hertz equipment here. But this isn't in a space that's on the tour route. This isn't any equipment that we use or show off. Do you think the Navy should have given us spares? Let us know in the comment section your thoughts. I like the idea of having a complete ship, even if everything doesn't work. However, the idea of my tax money being spent to put a non-working thing in an off-the-tour route part of a no longer functional ship is a little bit hard to stomach. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to continue donating to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.